Hey, it's Ryan with an April update fishing report for Big Stone Lake. It is just after Easter and we have had some excellent fishing out here this past weekend. I'll get started by going over some of the current lake conditions. Big Stone's a little bit low. I think I've heard people say it's 8 inches below summer pool. But for this time of year, I'd say, it's definitely a foot below normal. So there's definitely some exposed rocks where there isn't normally at this time. If you're going to be back in the bays or, fishing some of the shallows, definitely keep that main motor trimmed up because you might bump into areas where you didn't bump into them in the past at this time. As far as weeds go, the curly leaf pondweed is really the only thing that's coming up at this time. And it's definitely a little ahead of where it should be. I've seen a lot of areas out here where it's about a foot, foot and a half off the bottom. There are a few patches where I've seen it anywhere from 3 to all the way up to 5 feet off the bottom. So it's definitely got a head start this year. Now to the fishing. The fishing out here has been excellent. I have had a great time the last couple of weekends out here. We have ran into a variety of fish. I'm trying to think. I think today I got 6 different species out here. Pike, walleyes, silver bass, sheephead, largemouth, and a lot of crappies. And I'll be getting to the crappies in just a minute. But there's a lot of fish biting in Big Stone right now. The bite's been very good overall. There's a variety of different ways you can catch them, and I will be getting into that. So first things first is the walleyes. There's a couple different areas where I've been finding them. It seems like when I find dirtier water, I'll find them up in 2-3 feet of water. The dirty water tends to be warmer. Those walleyes go right up in there, right in the middle of the day. That's where I'll find them in dirtier water. If the water is cleaner, which you see throughout most of the lake, you have to get out a little bit deeper. Where I've personally been finding them is about 5 to 7 feet of water. It seems like that area right where you can't really make out the bottom anymore, that's where I start running into walleyes when the water is a little bit cleaner. There's a variety of techniques a guy can use to catch them. The number one is going to be a jig and a minnow, a 1/16 or an 1/8 ounce jig and a fat head. Pop it across the bottom. That just produces fish out here. But if you want to use artificials, paddle tail minnow, that works great out here. Just cast it out, reel it in. Or you can also use hard baits such as a jerk bait will catch fish, or you can use the flicker shads. Those are an excellent bait out here too, a number 7 flicker shad, shallow or deep. Just kind of use whatever gets you down right above the bottom. But those baits have been producing walleyes for me over the last couple of weeks, and those are just mainstays on Big Stone year after year. Second is the crappies, and that is really the hot topic for me right now because the crappie bite on Big Stone has been excellent. Bumped into them last week and really kind of fine-tuned it over the last few days, and been catching a bunch of crappies out here. A lot of really good size ones too. It seems like 13 inches is kind of where I'm seeing them top out, but we've been getting a lot of fish in that 11, 12, 13 inch range. So if you're looking for a limit of crappies, they've started. It's definitely in full swing and you can get them right now. They're not always going to be in the same place, but they're definitely in the same areas. So when you pull up to an area and find some fish, if you get off them, just keep looking around because you'll find them again. And when you find them, they bite. For the crappies, you can either use a plain hook and a crappie minnow. That's what a lot of people do, or a flu and a crappie minnow. But all I've been doing and all we've done the last couple of years is just a jig and a plastic. So I just use a 1/16 ounce jig head, round ball jig head, and a 3-inch paddle tail minnow, just something natural color. Cast it out, reel it in slow. Don't need live bait. We've been getting limits very quickly out here. It's a ton of fun. It's really engaging. And it's really cool because it's nice to see the crappies back on Big Stone. For the crappies, there's definitely 2 different depths that a guy can focus on. What I have noticed is if you're going to be out deep, that's more of a clear water thing. That's like 8 to 10 feet of water. You'll find crappies out there above that curly leaf pondweed. You got to go mosey around. You got to use your electronics and look for them. But once you find them, just cast over the top of them. You can get them to eat pretty easily. But you definitely have to move around and keep up with them when they're out there. The shallow bite, that's generally more related to rock is what I've noticed. Not always, but usually. And when you find them in shallow, you definitely want to find some dirtier water. So the shallower, dirtier water, it's a little bit warmer. Those fish, when you find those bites, those are definitely the more aggressive bites. It seems like the schools are tighter together. You can just get your limit of crappies a lot quicker when you go in shallow. So that's what I would recommend. You're definitely going to have to go look for it because there's only kind of little pockets where you find that warmer, dirtier water with the crappies in it, but when you find it, it's definitely worth your time. And whether you're fishing shallow or deep or just using the same techniques, you can either use a bobber and a crappie minnow, or you can do what I'm doing and just the little paddle tail minnow and a 1/16 ounce jig head. Lastly is the bass fishing out here, and the bass fishing's good. I'm pleased with it. It's definitely seems better than it was last year. We're putting quite a few fish in the boat today. What I would recommend doing is finding larger rocks. It definitely seems like boulders, larger rock that's in that, I would say 3 to 5 foot of water range. That's been best. Now, there are certain areas up in the shallows where you find dirty water and rock, and you'll get into pods of fish and do really well on an isolated spot. I've ran into that a couple times over the last couple of days, but it seems like the most consistent bite is still, it's kind of closer to the main break. It's almost pretty close to those same areas where you're finding the walleyes at 5 to 7 feet or 3 to 5 feet. The bass are just slightly shallower than what I've been catching the walleyes in. For the bass, what's been working best for me is a chatterbait, just a green pumpkin, 3/8 or ½ ounce chatterbait. That it's a mainstay for me and my boat out here. But I've also put some fish in the boat on the little flat-sided crankbaits like the flicker shad, and definitely caught some fish on the jerkbait as well. But it definitely seems like the chatterbait has been best. And usually what I like doing is if the chatterbait's working, I like throwing on a square bill, something different, going back over the same areas. But there's a lot of moss on top of the rocks. So whether you're throwing the flat-sided crankbait or the square bill, the problem is when you start making bottom contact with those treble hooks in the bill, you just catch a lot of moss and get gummed up. Where the chatterbait, you can get through there a lot easier. That's what's happening on Big Stone. It's been a lot of fun over the last couple of weeks. I am definitely looking forward to the next few weeks out here. This is my favorite time of year to be on Big Stone. The fishing's great this season, and definitely looking forward to it. So hopefully this helps you out. Good luck fishing and have a great weekend.